Hello, my name is Matika Petty. Today I'm doing my presentation on experience I have had in my life. I will start by saying my paper today is called The Day. We all have had an experience in our lives, and the day was mine. I called it the day because it was the day my grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Outside of me and my grandmother and our family consisted aunts, uncles, and several cousins. So I feel like it has been just me and my grandmother's struggle against all the advertised that life's holds. I have never really told anyone how diagnostic day made me feel. It all started a few days before Christmas on December 19, 2009. I was getting excited with the holidays approaching. Me remembering Thanksgiving was time we all spent together, blessed and rejoiced like normal, and giving thanks. Next would be Christmas, a magical time which would give ending in another great year, other than the day my grandmother was diagnosed. On the fateful day in December, everything seems to be normal. I did not realize anything was wrong. My grandmother told me that she had doctor's appointments. I called around asking my aunts about my grandmother, and she said everything was all right. Little did I know I was about to receive news that would change my life. I was getting in the bathtub folding clothes when my grandmother got back. She had a terrified look on her face as she was talking with my aunts in the other room. I remember the day exact words when she approached me by saying, "Matika, please don't get upset, but I have breast cancer." I was looking straight into my grandmother's eyes because I was already at her height. As I looked at realized she would be different. She would be more tired than ever, and she would be losing her beautiful long black hair. It seems as if the room were spinning, and I just broke down and began crying. Questions were running through my head. Why my grandmother had we not had any share of struggles in our lives? Why would God try to take away the most important person in my life? As I turned around, I saw tears streaming down her face of my aunts and cousins. My grandmother held me close, whispering that everything was going to be all right, but nothing could ease the pain that I was feeling inside. Over the next few days, I tried to pretend to be happy so my grandmother would not be sad, but when I was alone, the only thing I would do was cry. I felt as though my world was falling apart and it would be impossible to put it back together. My schoolwork was affected, my grades declined, I was not able to concentrate. I did not care about anything else but my grandmother. The dreadful day came and it was time for my grandmother's operation. We all woke up early that morning, January 3rd, 2010, around 5 a.m. We were on our way to Spartanburg Regional Hospital. After we signed my grandmother in, my aunts went to the room. I made my way to the gift shop. I purchased a beautiful guardian angel that was encased in a shadow box. As I walked from the hallway to the room, I tried to block all thoughts and was racing through my mind. Finally, it was time for my grandmother to go to surgery. As the nurse was pushing the bed that my grandmother was in, I was in tears scrolling down the side of I was in tears walking down the side of the hallway while tears were scrolling down the side of my face. I was holding her hand, but I reached over and wiped all the tears away. At the moment, I was trying to be strong for her, but I was so afraid. As we approached the operating room, I knew I could not go any further. I tried to reassure my grandmother that everything was okay, but this was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. leaving my grandmother since I was raised by her. It seems like hours before the surgery, had ended. Finally, the surgeon came out and told us that the operation had been a success. As we waited in the room, she finally opened her eyes and smiled when she saw all of us. I could not hug her because of her surgery. We stayed with her for about an hour. It was getting late and we all went back home for bed. The next morning I was so happy my grandmother was coming home. For the next couple of weeks my aunts came to take care of my grandmother. Then the time for my grandmother to start her treatments, the doctor said her hair would fall out and I was heartbroken for her. One day I remembered finding a lot of hair in the trash. My grandmother called my aunt to come over and cut her hair. I guess it was frustrating when your hair's falling out every time you brush it. We all went to the Cancer Center of America and helped grandmother pick some wigs and some hats. Today I have did my speech on experiencing one of the most important things in my life, and that's my presentation, and it's called D-Day.